Don't miss Clownfish Studios' latest crowdfunder, Crimson Wren Volume 1 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Thaddeus Wendell's greatest treasure is out there, and it's up to young mage Crimson Wren and the crew of a rundown airship called the True North to find it. But will they find it in time? Crimson Wren of the True North is a race against the clock filled with action, adventure, comedy, and heart. This is a brand new manga-style graphic novel from Clownfish Studios. Go to crimsonwren.com or check it out on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. It ends on November 18th. That's November 18th. And now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. We're going to talk about David Zaslav, HBO Max, and all the canceled content, especially cartoons. You know, we've been talking about how David Zaslav is brutally cutting back on animated content, among other things, to try to save some money with the combined Warner Brothers and Discovery entity. And they just announced that they are canceling Tuca and Bertie again. We'll talk about that one. But he basically said, if we cut your show, it wasn't bringing anything to the table. Yeah, we didn't take one show off the platform that would help us. So he's saying that your stuff is worthless. Your cartoons are worthless. That's kind of a kick to the teeth, isn't it? A little bit of salt in the wound. We're going to talk about this. This guy just does not care. I think he's doing what has to be done from a financial perspective, maybe. But, we're going to see a lot of stuff get chopped that might have actually been pretty good. We're going to see a lot of creators being completely baffled as to why their series are missing from streaming. And again, this is all brutal cost cutting by David Zaslav. And he's not done yet. They're talking they're going to be cutting Warner Brothers, cutting HBO Max for the next 2 years. I think the end of 2024. Yeah, so it's bad, guys. It's really bad, especially for animation fans, which, believe it or not, we are fans of old school Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera, and I just don't think he thinks very much of it anymore. So we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over almost 281,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about the animation industry and comics, having worked in and around both and knowing people in the industry. It's disheartening to see this on some levels, and on the other hand, it's like, no, what did we expect was going to happen? A lot of the animated series that have been greenlit over the last 5 to 10 years, particularly the last couple of years, really had no path to profitability. Like, there was no way these shows were going to make money. They were greenlit because they were pet projects of people working at the company, or they had mandates, or they were looking to find another market or something, but there was no path to actually making them profitable. Like, are we going to have enough people watch these shows to recoup our millions and millions of dollars in ad revenue? Are we going to have enough kids watching these shows to beg their parents for toys and merchandise? And, you look at a lot of the shows that have been on Cartoon Network, and regardless of what you think of them creatively, the answer is no. Look, we did a video before. Steven Universe, the toys were on clearance almost immediately. I think Cartoon Network thought they could merchandise Steven Universe, but, the audience for Steven Universe doesn't buy toys. And on the Disney side, the audience for the Owl House, even if you like the show, they don't buy toys. They don't buy stuff, and that's kind of what helps keep this stuff on the air. This is why shows like, SpongeBob and Dora the Explorer and Blue's Clues and stuff has been on the air forever. Even Teen Titans Go, you could argue, a lot of people watch it because there's nothing else to watch. They just run it over and over and over again. But people watch it. They do sell merchandise, and that's not the case for like Infinity Train or something like that. It's just, how you going to merch it, right? So the Hollywood Reporter talking about the situation. Warner Brothers Discovery reports a $94.9 million combined streaming subscriber. It was still a miss. Ad revenue declined. We're going to talk about this here. Zaslav addressed the decision to cancel and remove shows from networks and HBO Max, saying, "We didn't take one show off a platform that would help us," adding that they want to replace those shows with content that has a chance to be more successful. Right? So they're going to spend money, but they're not going to spend money on another Steven Universe. They're not going to spend money on another Infinity Train. Again, regardless of how you feel about those shows, they're just not. They're just not. So yeah, they missed their target. They said that they're up to 94.9 million combined subscribers across their streaming services, led by HBO Max and Discovery Plus. But they were expecting a gain of about 3 million subscribers. He said the company is going to be aggressively tackling the ad-supported streaming market next year. Now, I wouldn't get too excited because apparently Roku's not doing very well. A lot of these streaming services are not doing well because the ad rates are down. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's seeing it. And that's, whether or not it's YouTube or on websites, and we do both, and I'm watching it happen in real time, the ad rates are cratering. If they're cratering for us, don't worry, we're fine. But we're small. We're nimble. If they're cratering for us, they're absolutely cratering for bigger content producers, for sure. He said, "We have a unique opportunity to increase our addressable market and drive value, and we intend to move quickly." They have to move quickly. There's always a huge number of people that don't want to pay. Yeah, ask Twitter. There's a huge number of people that don't want to pay. They've lost $2.3 billion. They had an earnings of $9.8 billion. Wall Street expectations were $10.4 billion in revenue. The large loss was mostly due to substantial restructuring charges and write-downs tied to the merger. In particular, a tough macroeconomic environment hit Warner Brothers' advertising business, which was down 11% from a year ago. Inside baseball, again, as a guy who runs multiple websites and has other advertising-based businesses, we're down about 25%. And we have been most of the year. Again, not catastrophic because we're small, but if you have a lot of overhead and you've got shareholders, clamoring for, more and more and more revenue, it's going to be disappointing, right? So they said the merger costs impacted their bottom line. A significant amount of change is required. In fact, we see this as presenting a meaningful opportunity, one we have seized wholeheartedly. We're reimagining and transforming the organization for the future while driving synergy. Oh God, this is corporate speak. Driving synergy enterprise-wide. We got a lot of work to do and blah, 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 blah. All right, in regards to contents, all the way at the bottom, they buried the lead. Zaslav elaborated on the company's plans for linear TV, where he said network chiefs want to be cost efficient and not spend big money on shows that get beaten by reruns of The Big Bang Theory, and on the decision to remove and cancel content from the company's streaming platforms. "We didn't take one show off a platform that would help us in any way," he said. They want to replace the shows with content that has a chance. He said he wants to emphasize DC movies, Lord of the Rings movies, and Harry Potter as potential growth areas. Guess what? JK is not canceled, right? So here's the thing. They're already canceling. They're canceling Degrassi. I don't think anybody cared about that. They're canceling Charlotte's Web with a Sesame Workshop, and there's a pretty damn good possibility that Sesame Street will not be on HBO Max going forward. Tuca Bertie got the axe. Another cartoon. I mean, it was already canceled, right? But it got chopped again. So Netflix canceled Tuca Bertie, if you remember, a couple of years ago. And then it got picked up by Adult Swim, which is, part of Warner Brothers, part of Cartoon Network. They picked it up and it got chopped again. And the creator, Lisa Hannawalt, said that working with Adult Swim was creatively fulfilling. Our execs were all smart and thoughtful. I'm grateful we had the space to make these episodes. I mean, it was kind of interesting that, this one got another chance. A lot of times these shows don't get another chance, but I'm not surprised at all that it got. I mean, it was canceled once, and if it's not pulling eyeballs, it's going to get canceled again. Cartoon Network, of course, has been canceling a lot of stuff, guys. I mean, they're canceling stuff all over. We did a video about how the animation industry is freaking out. Infinity Train, Summer Camp Island getting axed. We don't know what's going on with Apple and Onion. All these shows, again, these are shows that are as Zaslav said they're not bringing the eyeballs. They're getting beat by reruns of, The Big Bang Theory and all that crap. And, this is kind of the new reality. We had 5 or 8 years where a lot of, experimental quasi-adult animation could be produced because times were good. Times are not good. The money is running out, and networks are going to make decisions they have to make to stay in business going forward. Warner Brothers is getting hammered. Everybody's getting hammered. But unfortunately, a lot of stuff's going to get caught up in the net. It all comes down to views. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.